Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Well, the trade deadline, ladies and gentlemen, it's just a couple of days away. And there's a lot of rumors going around, so we're going to give you a couple of updates on these rumors and talk about how it might impact the Knicks and what the Knicks may or may not do here at the trade deadline, because there's rumors going around about that as well. I hope you've been having a great week so far, and we're going to go ahead and get into it. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the Knicks versus Washington tonight. Is it a must win? I think it is. What do you think? Let's go ahead and let's get into this, man, because we got a panel stacked up here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about as far as this trade deadline is concerned. And, yeah, let's get into it. Divine, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Salute to everybody on the panel and the chat, man. NBK, we ain't here, man. I'm doing good, so I'm feeling good, man, and ready to get the ball rolling, man. Like you said, we got a lot of talk about trade deadline chatter, man, and Knicks at the watch at the World Most Famous Arena tonight at 7:30. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into that. But I'm glad to be aboard, man. You know, as always, man. NBK fam in here, brother, for sure.
No doubt. Steph, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good today. Shout out to you, Sim, the chat, the panel. Looking forward to the game tonight and looking forward to this show and talking about possibly upgrading the team.
Yeah, I hope that's going to be the plan. I'm getting nervous. I hope that's the plan.
I know.
Andy?
What's up, Sim? What up to the chat? What up to the panel? Happy to be on with you guys. And like you said, let's start to scrap up the news. And, after that, probably the pregame, chat. So let's get rolling.
Yeah, let's get it. Chop, what's going on, man? Real quick, how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling very good. God bless the chat, the panel, Uncle D, Uncle Andy, Auntie Steph. Uncle Sim, God bless you, brother. You heard?
Appreciate you, my
man. Man, I know.
I appreciate you. I try. I try. All right, let's get into this a little bit. Let's first talk about something that came out from Ian Begley. I think that's the first thing we need to discuss. All right, so Ian Begley said this morning that, I don't know if it was this morning, whenever he said it. He said several teams in touch with the Knicks recently are under the impression that New York is unlikely to trade major assets for a top player at the deadline. That echoes what SNY, Ian Begley and SNY noted last week. Some teams in touch with the Knicks cited a common factor. A major trade in the middle of the season could disrupt the chemistry established by New York's current group. So that's the first thing to come out about the New York Knicks today, or one of the first things today to come out about the Knicks. I get it. I really do. I really do get it. I understand it. You don't want to break up the chemistry. They are building something, but at some point it's going to happen. I guess maybe their thinking is that it's going so well now. Why break it up for the unknown? Right? For someone that we're not sure if we're really going to commit to. We're not sure if we're going to commit to Oladipo. We're not sure if we're going to commit to Lonzo Ball in the offseason. If we're going to make a move, at least make a move for somebody we know we're going to commit to for the long term. But in the short term, it could possibly be a drawback for the Knicks, as they may not upgrade at the trade deadline. And it could all be a ploy, right? They could be bargaining and negotiating with another team out there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Divine, what do you think? Do you think it's the right move, the wrong move? Either way, I guess for me, either way, I'm going to be okay. Because I can understand that they don't want to break the chemistry. I get it. What do you think, Divine?
Yeah, that's Sim. I would love for us to get somebody, and like you said, we don't. I think us as Knicks fans, we'll be fine with what they're doing there. They might be looking at the bigger picture, or they might know some things we don't know. Who knows? But I would like to see us do something just to give us a little bit more punch in the lineup, or on the roster. It don't have to be major. I mean, like I say, I had the Rudy Gay thing in my mind. 10 million aspiring veteran, come off the bench with Todd Gibson and Derrick Rose, guys, just bring a little bit more experience there. And I'm good for making a move, man. The Rudy Gay, Terrence Ross, long as it's not, like you say, it's not taken away from the chemistry and the camaraderie, I'm good with it, man. I think the Knicks probably, they probably feel like, we're going to wait to go into the off season and let's see what's out there. You know what I mean? But I would like to see to get somebody in here, and just to, give us a little bit more punch, man. And I do agree with them with the chemistry and the camaraderie. I don't want to see them mess that up. But if you also can get somebody in here that's going to, elevate the team a little bit more, man, and, keep us in a chance to get a playoff run. And hopefully it's inspiring. It don't have to be a major deal unless it's just a no-brainer and you got to do it. But I got a feeling they don't do the trade deadline soon. They might wait for the waiver wire. You know what I mean? Say, let's wait till the waiver wire come, see who's on waivers, see who get bought out, and then maybe they can make a move that way. But Ian Begley got his ears to the source, and I guess that's probably what they doing. They say they're going to wait, but I do think they're going to make a move. Though I'm still going to hold true to that. They got to do something cool. Austin Rivers, probably either they're going to trade him or buy him out. They got to do something. I just don't think they'll stand pat with him the rest of the season. I mean, who knows? Kevin Knox. I heard a little bit of Frank chatter out there, so it's just so much chatter. It's hard to put a finger on everything. But I would like to see him do something though.
Yeah. What do you think, Steph? You think they might just go ahead and stand pat, or do things that are really small on the back end that that help them in the future with either draft picks or the cap or something like that?
Listen, what I'm hoping, if there's a major deal out there to be made, I hope they make it. I'm okay with a short-term disruption in chemistry if it upgrades this team. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not okay with them giving up assets for rental. So if you are going to go after someone who has an expiring contract and you're giving up assets, I would prefer it be a sign and trade, or they agree to an extension, right? I don't want to just give assets and you don't really know what's going to happen with that play in free agency. But in terms of chemistry, listen, we're under 500. It's not like Atlanta. Like Atlanta now is thinking about Collins. They until last night was on an 8-game winning streak, right? You really hot. Do you want to break up the chemistry in that case to bring in a player and basically break the momentum? That's not what we're dealing with. I mean, we're under 500. We have a lot of injuries. We need an upgrade at the point guard. As much as I like Rose and respect what Elfrid is doing, we don't have a starting point guard on this team. But again, I don't want to give up assets for a rental, but I don't mind short-term hit in the chemistry department if we're able to upgrade the roster, because talent over time is going to trump chemistry. Right? Maybe not in the short term, but over time it will. So I hope they do something major. If I want them to be smart, right? Don't give up 5 first-round picks for a player that's not worth it, right? Be smart, manage the assets well, but I really do want them to upgrade this roster, Sam, right now. If they don't, I'm okay with it. If they don't, I'm okay with it. But I would like them to do something major if they can, but be smart about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the question then, because Ian Begley says no major trades, no major move. Andy, what's major? Is Lonzo Ball major? Is Victor Oladipo major?
Well, I think they meant it in a way that we are not going to give away much of our assets. That means players and picks. Okay. Meanwhile, it's not. They're not opposed to getting a major asset. So if it's a major player for some cheap guys, I think they're going to be willing to do that deal. But if it's the other way around, that we would have to give out, 3 first-round picks and stuff, and just for an expiring player, stuff like that, I don't think they're going to move on that kind of a deal. Then again, if they had a chance, for example, to I don't know, switch up Knox for a guy that's going to give you valuable minutes. I mean, like in the rotation with 20 minutes off the bench, or even, maybe start instead of, I don't know, Reggie Bullock or someone, or a point guard like you guys mentioned. I think those are the moves that have to be made. And, going back to the chemistry question, chemistry is a really, really build up thing, right? So it can be regained, and as you said, if you lose a player, the chemistry breaks up a little bit. But if the player is worth the disruption, I think you gotta do that deal. So it's a really tough decision for them, but we got places that we knew need improvement. And like Divine said, I think if they don't make a deal, a player for a player, they're going to look at the waiver wire, at the buyout market, and then we can just, drop a guy like Iggy Brasdeikis and pick up Andre Drummond or something, right? So that's going to be a major, we're not going to be giving up major assets, but we're going to be getting one. So I think that those are the moves that they're looking for to make.
Yeah. And I also think there's a couple of things at play. One, it tempers the expectations of the fans when you say no major trades. That definitely tempers our expectations. And then it sends the message, with what you're saying is that, hey, we're happy with what we have. We're not in a rush to make a move. So you better come down on your asking price. If you really want this guy gone, and you better come down on your asking price, or, we're cool. So I think there's a few things happening and going on there now, because obviously the Knicks have had discussions about players, right? That same article where Ian Begley says there's no major trades, he also said to that end, the Knicks, like all other teams, have been monitoring the cost to trade for players who may be available at the deadline. For example, New York and Orlando recently had a conversation about a trade involving Evan Fournier. Right? It's unclear if that discussion reached an advanced stage. Right? I mean, for me, Evan Fournier, he's okay. He's good. He can knock down the three. He can score the ball. He can give you 20. I don't know if he fits the mold that Tom Thibodeau's looking for, though, in my opinion. As far as the defensive intensity and tenacity. Maybe he just hasn't had, I don't know. He's been playing for Steve Clifford for a while now, and it just doesn't seem like he fits that mold for me. He's not a guy that I'm particularly interested in at this trade deadline. Is he somebody? And I think he's on the last year of his contract. He's probably making $18 to $20 million a year. We could afford him if we wanted him. It's not a guy that I'm particularly interested in, though. Josh, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
What's going on, guys?
Would you have any interest in Evan Fournier?
I think Evan Fournier, though, will be an upgrade at the point guard position. That's for sure. Or at the guard spot, just in general.
Guard spot. At
the guard spot. I think, I definitely would like to take him. And would I be willing to trade some assets for him? No. I particularly like you. I don't see the Knicks really going out and doing, going out and being really aggressive for Evan Fournier. But could he help the team? Absolutely. He definitely can help. His ability to shoot the basketball. We definitely need some more shooters to increase our points per game. But I'm not going, above and beyond for Evan Fournier. He's not somebody that I have on my radar. Like, we got to get that guy.
Yeah. Right. Anyone else? Divine, what do you think about Evan Fournier?
He's definitely a good offensive player, and the only reason I would go if we decide to take Evan Fournier because Steve Clifford and Tom Thibodeau, they from the same tree. I know Tom Thibodeau. Steve Clifford is a defense-minded coach, believe it or not. We don't have to re-sign him next year. We want to send Austin Rivers back down to Orlando. He's from Orlando Park area down there. Got a home down there. Doc Rivers got a home down there. If you can get Austin Rivers and throw in another player.
It's not between two NBA teams.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you fine. But I wouldn't give up, like you said, I wouldn't give up no major assets. It's not even worth it. But for somebody on an aspiring deal, we don't have to sign next year. He's an offensively more consistent Reggie Bullock. I just don't think his defense is where Reggie Bullock is at. But for 19, 20 points a game just for a half a season, if we don't have to give up nothing major, I take a fly on him. You know what I mean? Because I definitely won't resign him. You know, but he's a good scorer though. He when we have those scoring droughts, you know, you'd be surprised. Evan Fournier can hit them threes, he can hit the buckets. But if we don't take him, we ain't missing nothing. But if we take him, I think he can help us a little bit though.
Yeah.
Can I ask one question and say something?
Yep. Go ahead, Chop.
All right, because if getting him is that like getting another Pablo Prigioni?
Not really.
If we get him, we have to give up Frank Ntilikina.
I don't know what we have to give up. I mean,
just like him.
He makes 17
just like him.
Yeah, he makes $17 million a year. Listen, he would come to our team and be one of the better shooters on the team. There's no doubt about that. You know, he would clearly be one of the better shooters and scorers on the team. He may be able to come in and give you an efficient and steady, stable 16 to 17 points per game. I'm not saying he wouldn't do that. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know if he exactly fits what Tom Thibodeau would wants from his players on the defensive side. On the defensive side, but you know what? I don't know that much about him. You know what I'm saying? Tom Thibodeau, you know, could be the defensive whisperer. You know what I mean? And bring it out of him. Who knows? You know, who knows how that goes? He could be. He could be.
He could be.
You know,
but remember, we have Alec Burke, we got Reggie Bullock.
Right.
You understand? And we got Frank Ntilikina. We have too many of these same players in that same position. Well, somebody's going to have to go.
Well, yeah, of course. Someone's going to have to go.
Going to acquire that. I don't think that should be a conversation. Or
yeah. You know,
for Fournier.
Right. And I mean, you know, yes, someone would definitely have to go, you know, because he makes $17 million and you only got $15 million and you got to be able to match some of that. You know what I'm saying? At least, you know, because we got $15 million to spend. So you'd have to, you know, be able to match some of it. And you probably would give up players so that you can clean up that glut just a little bit. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, sorry. I got 2 points on Fournier, right? Well, if you are looking for Evan Fournier to join the team, I think he's really a similar player to Alec Burks because he can score in bunches. He's just way more consistent with the scoring. So you won't have those, you know, drop down games that he has 5 points, 6 points, whatever. He's going to be always in the, you know, 12, 14, 15, and even go up 20, you know, points per game if he gets the opportunities to shoot the ball. That's one thing. The other thing about the deal that we could make with Orlando, like you said, he's making $17 million a year. We have the 15 that we can basically swallow and give them a trade exception. Sorry. But I was thinking about a deal that, you know, just filling out, you don't even have to fill out the rest of the $2 million, if I'm correct, because you can have the 10% difference between. So even Iggy Brasdeikis could fill out the gap. So if Orlando was willing to take Iggy Brasdeikis and, for example, the 2022 first round pick for Evan Fournier, we could make the deal done. And now you're going to ask me probably, why would Orlando do such a thing? Well, if you look at the roster and their cap situation, if they are not willing to trade Nikola Vucevic and they're going to keep him with all the young guys that they have, they're going to gain an extra first-round pick. They're probably going to cut Iggy Brasdeikis because he's not basically an NBA player. But they're going to gain that first-round pick. They're going to still try to trade Aaron Gordon and Terrence Ross, making salary cap space to sign even a player this offseason, because they're going to have, like, cutting ties with Fournier, Ross, and Aaron Gordon is going to give him almost like $55 million in cap space for this offseason. So getting an extra asset in a first round pick and a future first round pick even giving that cap flexibility, they might make that move just to have the shorter turnaround of their franchise instead of staying with all of these guys and waiting till the deals come off the books and then start the rebuild. So they could scrap it up really fast, even at this deadline, and be, players on the free agent market to fill up the roster, next to Nikola Vucevic in this offseason.
But you would give up a first-round pick for Fournier?
Steph, I'm not attached to that 2022 first-round pick. I love these first-round picks. Like I said before, that I really value these first-round picks because I believe we're going to package them and move up, even if it's a 2-3 spot, gain. I believe in this draft, you're going to have to do that. On the other side, Thibs don't like, that many rookies. So I don't see us keeping and signing 3 rookies from this year's draft. So I'm guessing that's the plan that they are thinking about. And, that one 2022 pick, I rather
that's going to be the only one we have, right? Because we don't have any ones that from trade. So that 2022 draft pick
it's going to be the only one. But we have again 2 first-round picks in 23, which is going to be the draft that the high school kids are going to be available. So I would, rather skip the 22 year draft and then be able to snatch even 2 guys in the 23 round draft.
But I think the question is he worth a first rounder? Not necessarily. I don't mind giving it up. I'm wondering, is he?
The question is this: if we would have a steady scorer off the bench, along with Alec Burks quickly, which quickly and Burks aren't steady scorers, that would fill a glut, and we might finally, move up a little bit in the offense category stats, right? Because we would be probably scoring around 110 in an average, because he would probably be making us that much better as far as efficiency, right? So I think it's probably a question that Thibs has to answer the management, if he sees him getting minutes, getting shots. Because if he does, I think that might be a smart move, because it's going to make us better right now, and it's not going to be that kind of a major move because his contract is running out after this season or after the future the next season, right? So he's not like top on my short list, because I rather go after Lonzo or players that are going to stay longer with the team and at least are going to be committed as far as age wise and stuff. But if we're looking just to ditch that 1 first-round pick and an asset like Iggy Brazdeikis, I think I'd have to do it.
He is kind of the mold that they were going after when they were looking at Gordon Hayward. He's not the level of Gordon Hayward, but he's that mold of player, right? That style of player. So I guess we'll see if that's something that they were serious about, or if it was just discussions. As we talked about a few streams ago, they are looking to see how can they best use that $15 million. So that could be that could be something that they just looking at different ways that they could use it. So they're having these conversations now, according to Woj, and this goes along with everything that Ian Begley was saying. Sources, ESPN sources, say the Heat and the Knicks, with premium summer cap space, are reluctant to offer premium packages for Victor Oladipo. But markets developed of capped out teams bidding with young players and first-round pick combos. One thing's become clear: Houston's likely moving Oladipo before the deadline. Let me read that one more time. ESPN sources say that the Heat and the Knicks, with summer cap space, are reluctant to offer premium packages for Victor Oladipo. But a market has developed of capped out teams bidding with young players and first round pick combos. So one thing has become clear, that Houston will likely be moving Victor Oladipo before the trade deadline. Now, something else has come out that says that it's starting to seem likely that Miami could end up with either Victor Oladipo or Kyle Lowry. And let me say this now. Let me make sure I add this in here. and LaMarcus Aldridge, right? So there's a growing sense that the Heat will land LaMarcus Aldridge and Kyle Lowry or Victor Oladipo.
Scary.
That is scary. I don't know how they make it work. I don't know what their cap situation is like. I guess they're gonna have cap situation or cap money. I don't know how they make it work, but the Knicks are not looking to part with, use major assets right now. I guess they just don't feel like that player is at the deadline right now to give away major assets. Right, so if it was a Zach LaVine or Bradley Beal, I think they would give away major assets. But I guess they're looking and saying we don't feel like that player is there right now to give away major assets. Again, for those who are interested in Victor Oladipo, it doesn't mean that it won't happen. It just means that the Knicks are playing a little bit more hardball, and they're like, nah, we're not going to give you a premium package. We'll give you a package, but it won't be premium. It's going to be less than premium. For Victor Oladipo. Any thoughts, Steph, on where you think Victor Oladipo ends up? Because it sounds like he's going to be on the move.
Probably Miami. I think Miami, one of the things with Miami is, are they going to be willing to give up any of their shooters for him?
Robinson.
Right. I was reading that even though Hero is not playing that well this season, they're still high on him. Mm-hmm. But then again, they can wait to the offseason. I think Miami's going to have like $54 million or something like that. They're going to have some cap space this summer. I'm not quite sure exactly how much. My best guess would be Miami. I think Houston is waiting to see. They got deals on the table right now. I think they're just waiting to see if somebody is going to up the offer a little bit. But if I had to guess, I'd say Miami.
Any way whatsoever that Victor Oladipo reaches the buyout market? Josh, what do you think, Josh? Any way?
He's going to Miami.
Go to Miami.
I don't know. I think Miami's going to try to, at least get some assets back for him. They're not just going to let him go and eat the money. I don't know why any team would do that, just, to be honest. So I think he's going to get traded. I think there's teams out there, enough of a market for teams that need a two-way, two-guard. There's a lot of offers out there. I don't think he's going to hit the buyout market.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably not. I guess he's not super high profile, but he's high profile enough and he's good enough. He can come in, he can give you 30 any game, right? That, he's not going to hit that. He's not going to hit that market. Let me get to a phone call and then I'll get back to some other rumors that we got out there and talk about those. Caller, you live. What's poppin'?
Hey, Sim, it's Oscar.
Oscar, what's going on with you, man? How you been?
Yeah, good. With the trade deadline coming up, I thought I'd come in to give my piece. I know a lot of fans want to make a move for Lonzo, who, I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but I think there's a bit of a misconception about Lonzo and what his skill set is. So since he was drafted, right, he's been billed as this passer, right, this great passer, the next Magic, whatever. But in reality, he's not a traditional point guard or a traditional playmaker. He thrives as a passer, in transition, or when he has to make quick reads when the ball's flowing throughout the offense. But he's not someone you really want running an offense, organizing the offense, running pick and rolls, creating shots, all that stuff, right? He's an off guard. And this point guard tag has stuck with him for his whole career for too long now, and scouts, I guess, were betting that this crazy passing vision he showed in transition would translate to more half court setting in the NBA, but that just hasn't happened. So he's still a valuable piece, but he's not an on-ball guard. He's not the type of player you really want to pay close to $20 million to, which is what it seems like he's going to get as an RFA this summer. And if we trade for him, we're going to have to commit to a contract like that, right? You don't want to give assets just for him to walk this summer. So, you can get in trouble pretty quickly with your cap sheet if you overpay for these role players, these low usage role players. And that's not even taking into account what we would actually have to give up to him, which would probably be something like the Dallas pick and Frank or Knox. So yeah, if we can get Lonzo for a reasonable contract and a reasonable, trade, I'm happy to make the move, but I don't really see that happening.
So now, if you're going to make the trade, though, it behooves the team to do it now rather than wait until the summer, because New Orleans can put the Knicks or any other team in a situation where they have to give up even more assets to trade for Lonzo Ball.
$20 million worth of assets.
Because they can make him a restricted free agent, match any contract offer, and then say, hey, now we'll trade him to you.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
And I think that they've kind of expressed that they don't really want to bring him back, especially at a price tag, in the upper teens or whatever, what he's going to ask for. You're right that, the team with his RFA rights holds the the leverage in that situation. But in the past, usually for players of this caliber, like not star RFAs, but maybe a little lower, it's usually about like a first round pick is like the bar, right? Like Christian Wood in the sign and trade last year got a first round pick. So I think it would be pretty similar assets to what we give up to get him today.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's the kind of piece like a can't miss piece that you can't, you can replace him. He's not.
Okay.
He's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any move that you would do at this trade deadline, or would you just hold still?
Definitely not Oladipo. He's been pretty bad this year. To be transparent, he's been really bad. Now, of course, he could just be not trying. His team lost 20 games in a row, but yeah, I would definitely not move assets for him. Fournier is interesting, but it seems like he's going to Boston. So yeah, I think that the best thing to do is sit pat here. I don't think giving up future assets to squeak into the 7th seed is really worth it. We gotta have bigger ambitions than that. So yeah, moving Austin for a pick. If someone wants Alfred, you can have him. Yeah, that's pretty much all I would do.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure if we get a pick for Austin Rivers. Maybe a second round pick. I know we definitely don't get a first. Maybe we get a second round pick. I kind of felt like he was going to be a piece of another trade, a piece of us getting Lonzo Ball or something like that, since we're not using him and he makes $3 million for the salary. So we'll see what happens. Oscar, I appreciate you for calling in. Hopefully things are going well for you.
You too.
And I look forward to hearing from you again.
See you later.
Appreciate you. That's our boy Genius right there, ladies and gentlemen. That guy, I'm telling you, he's going to be a GM one of these days. I can feel it. I know it.
Sam, he doesn't sound like a boy anymore, bro.
And he doesn't. He surely doesn't. I remember when the first time he called in, he had a little squeaky mouse voice. Now he's got a rap voice. I guess I don't know. He's getting older.
He's all grown up now.
Yeah, he's all grown up. He's getting older. According to NBA Central, you could take that for what it's worth, I guess. No diss to NBA Central, but sometimes they say a bunch of stuff, or they quote people that just aren't reputable. But they say the New York Knicks have been searching for a third team to take Eric Bledsoe's contract and a potential Lonzo Ball deal. So I'm trying to figure that one out again. And that is per Maz NYC. Okay, who is, I'm not exactly sure who Maz NYC is, but I think he's a local reporter. Mike Mazzio is a local sports writer. Again, the New York Knicks have been searching for a third team to take Eric Bledsoe's contract and a potential Lonzo Ball deal. My question is, I just want a little bit of an explanation. Andy, maybe you have, maybe you can think a little bit of why the Knicks and the Pelicans might be looking to move or find a way to move Eric Bledsoe as well.
Well, My
Tell me
only
what you
idea,
think
Sam,
about
is
that.
that they are going to get 2 point guards from the deal. So they have to move both of basically their playmakers. That's the only way, why I see it. Because why move your main point guard if you're trading your backup, basically?
Right.
So
That's what right. So why move? Where else is that point guard coming from? They're not gonna, unless it's for salary cap purposes. They're not moving Eric Bledsoe for Elfrid Payton. Right? Unless they're just like, hey,
exactly.
It's not really happening for us this season. So we're going to go ahead and move on from Eric Bledsoe. We'll bring back Elfrid Payton. He'll do for the rest of the season. And then we'll have some cap space to make some moves next year. Unless something like this is on the table as well. According to Yahoo Sports, the Pacers are listening to pitches on Malcolm Brogdon. Multiple teams are saying the Indiana Pacers are listening to pitches on Malcolm Brogdon and are monitoring Domantas Sabonis as well. On Brogdon, the belief is the Pacers feel Karis LeVert can man the point guard adequately enough should they get a real deal for Brogdon, who is in the second year of a 4-year, $85 million contract. The Clippers have been scouring the league for point guard help, so you can add his name to the list with Lonzo Ball, Terry Rozier, Ricky Rubio, and George Hill. Another Pacers guard could possibly be on the move. Their young guard, Aaron Holiday, seems to have fallen out of favor, and the franchise is looking for a first-round pick in return. I don't know.
My question is Donnie Walsh still the GM at the Pacers, or did he get replaced by someone crazy?
Good question.
That was sneaky, Andy. I like how you put that in there.
Right. I don't know, Steph. Do you think? I mean, because one, I can't understand. And obviously, these are all rumors, right? But I can't understand why the Pelicans would move on from Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball. Right, if they were looking to work out that kind of deal with the Knicks, and then be left with Kira Lewis at point guard. I mean,
and the other guy, what's his is he a point guard? I think he's related to Shilgers Alexander. Is he a point guard?
Oh, Alexander Walker, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. Is he a point guard as well?
Oh. You know what?
I don't know. They've been trying to open up some space for him.
Okay. That makes sense.
As well.
That makes sense.
That's the only thing I can think of. Him and Kyra Lewis. I think they're in 11th place in the West right now, 18 and 24, something like that. So maybe they don't like their chances making the playoffs this year and want to clear out Lonzo and Bledsoe to give those guys time so they can see what they have for the rest of the season. That's the only thing I can really think about it.
That's true.
So somebody in chat saying he's not up a point guard. I can't imagine that they would let those two go and only go with Kyra Lewis. But I think he's been playing point though. I do remember reading that they've been they want Zion to play point guard. I've read that as well or heard that as well. I don't know if he's ready to be that point forward in the NBA. I mean, he's good and possibly could be there. I don't know if he's ready to do it right now. And who knows? I don't know why Indiana would be looking to move Malcolm Brogdon. And the only reason why I bring up Malcolm Brogdon when I'm talking about the Pelicans is because if they're looking to move on for 2 point guards and the Pacers are looking for, or at least hearing pitches on Malcolm Brogdon, maybe the Pelicans are like, hey, if we can clear away Eric Bledsoe's contract, then maybe we can find a way to bring in Malcolm Brogdon. You put Malcolm Brogdon with that lineup, that's, they could be a pretty strong team. But if I'm the Knicks and the Pacers are really looking to move on from Malcolm Brogdon, which I don't know why, I'd be interested. I would be very interested, more so than Lonzo Ball. I think I would. Yep.
I think I would be really interested. Devon,
He's a dog.
Yeah, he is. How do you feel about Malcolm Brogdon?
Man, I think he go get. I'll do that in a heartbeat, bro. That brother two-way all day. You know what I mean? He's two-way all day. He's a really good ball player, and I think he'll fit in good with our team with RJ and Randall. I just think he fits so good with them guys, man. If that's for real, I think the Knicks got to do that with that contract. You only got 2 years left on it. I guess after this year, I think you got to try to make that move if it's out there and if it's real. Like you said, I'll take him over Lonzo due to the fact of the way his game. He got a good offense game. He got a good short mid-range game. He can shoot the three. He can guard just about anybody in the association on a defense level. You know what I mean? So I think, Sam, I had to definitely go with that. And depending on what they want, but you got to give it first, most likely, and so be it. I mean, but I definitely make that move, no question.
Yeah, listen, he's averaging 21 points a game, shooting 46% from the field. He shoots 39.8% from three. He averages 4.7 rebounds, 6.1 assists. He only averages 2 turnovers a game. He averages about 1.1 steals per game. The kid, he's good, and you're getting him right in the midst of his prime. I think he's 28 years old right now. Yeah, he's 28 years old. So you're getting him right there in his prime. If I'm the Knicks, man, I would really, really consider making a move for him if he's really, really available. Steph?
Yeah, the other reason I like Brogdon is I think he fits with Randall's window. I tend to think that the young people on our team has a separate window than Randall, other than RJ, who may within another year or two be ready to consistently be somebody we can count on. So I'm a proponent of making sure we get players in here that can play within Randall's window. And Brogdon would do that. I like the fact, as Devine said, he's a two-way player. He can shoot the three. He plays defense. He gets steals. He can run an offense, and he's tough. He's a Tibbs type of guy. So I would be all for bringing in Brogdon. And I think, Lonzo is still growing, and I think we have a better sense of who Brogdon is. Now, Lonzo may turn out to be even better, but right now we have a sense of who Brogdon is, and I think he fits seamlessly with what we're trying to do. And yeah, if we get him, the chemistry may be disrupted for a little while, but for a player like that, I think you take it. I wouldn't let that stop me.
Right. And if you go get Lonzo, think about it. If you go get Lonzo, you're going to have to pay Lonzo $20 million next year anyway, right? About that's probably what you're going to be giving him, that kind of a contract, maybe a little bit less. But Malcolm Brogdon is in the middle of the same type of a contract, right? I think he got paid 4 years, $85 million. So he's about $22 million a year, right? So you're going to be paying that much anyway. You might as well pay it to a guy who's proven. He's been in the playoffs.
Right.
He's got some history behind him. You might as well give it to a guy like that. Let me get to a phone call here. Caller, you live. What's popping?
Sam.
What's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling all right, brother. Spring, summer's going to be here soon.
It's getting here.
So it's a good thing. I haven't called in a minute, but I'm still listening. I want you to think that I've been.
Nah, I get it. It's all good. I know you listening. You saving it all up. So then one day you're just gonna hit me with everything that you mad about that I said.
Well, I'm never mad because you've been a rational, objective person when it comes to, and I've been listening now. Something like that. We've overcome our
right.
So we've gotten past that. But just to get on the topic of today, before I do, Pete, Josh, Andy, Devine, Queen Steph, peace to all of you, and all of the chat. Okay, so let's cut the peasantry. About a month and a half ago, I called and you and I was kind of going back and forth talking about Lonzo Ball.
Right.
And it wasn't too popular. A month and a half later, it seems like Lonzo Ball would be welcomed as a
Yeah, he would definitely be welcome, because we need some playmaking ability. And I think also because he brings, he can bring it on both sides of the floor. So he can give you some playmaking ability to help you facilitate the offense a little bit, and he can play defense. I think that's always the scary thing. You bring in someone, say, oh, we need someone that can play offense, but then they can't bring it on the defensive side. So, I think he fits.
Here's the two things about Lonzo Ball that I've been trying to explain to and people in the different chats that I've and so forth, that I've only heard one person say this, and really do I ever do this. But as long as we have Julius Randle on his, he's gonna be the bulk of the playmaker, because we're a half court. Where he's good for us is those easy buckets and getting us to run a bit more. You see what I'm saying? It's like those transition buckets that we never seem to get. So when Obi's on the floor, he can actually have some use offense. You see what I'm saying? Everything else in the half court, he would be playing off Julius, taking that three. You see what I'm saying? We're not a pick and roll team. So if that's not his strong suit, we're not going to be doing that.
I get you. And you're kind of going in and out. I don't know what it is, but you're going in and out some. So it's like you say it and then it'll go, kind of going in and out.
Hello? Is he saying he can't play off the ball? Oh.
Okay. That sounded like it was a little bit better. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
That's all I'm saying, is that he would play more so off the ball in court situations. And in those other situations is where it's where you would find, like the beauty of a guard like that. Because as long as you could have Magic, he's going to be the one that's carrying the bulk of the offense.
Right, and again, he was breaking up and it went out. So hopefully he can call back. But I do agree when you talk about Lonzo Ball. If you talk about a half court offense, he's probably going to be the same as what we already have, right? If you're talking about a half court offense, but he would definitely help us get up and down the floor, right? Because right now, when you look at our guards, we're terrible on the fast break. Look at the last game. You know what I mean? Alec Burks missed that layup on the fast break that could have gave us a lead. Now, he did have Tobias Harris running down his back, and it made it tough, But we're terrible in transition. Let's just put it like that. We are terrible in transition. And that is where he would help. And because he's shooting like 38% from the three-point line, with Julius Randle kicking it out to him, he'd be able to knock down that three. So he would definitely help in those spots. We'll see if the Knicks are actually, angling to make a move to get Lonzo Ball. But if Malcolm Brogdon is available, I think you got to go ahead and try to go get Malcolm Brogdon.
For sure.
Yeah. Again, if you're just joining us, according to Yahoo Sports, the Pacers are listening to pitches on Malcolm Brogdon. Multiple teams are saying the Indiana Pacers are listening to pitches on Malcolm Brogdon and are monitoring Domantas Sabonis as well. On Brogdon, the belief is the Pacers feel Karis LeVert can man the point guard adequately enough should they get a real deal for Brogdon, who's in the second year of a 4-year, $85 million contract. I mean, that's easy for me. You know, that's pretty easy for me. Also, the Spurs, there's a report that along with LaMarcus Aldridge, the Spurs have made it clear that DeMar DeRozan is available through trade. And it has been reported that the Knicks have at least had internal conversations about acquiring DeMar DeRozan. Any thoughts?
How old is he, Sam?
There. DeMar DeRozan, I think he is 30, I believe. I think he's around 30 years old.
31.
31 years old? Okay. Any thoughts on DeMar DeRozan?
He's a bucket. Definitely a bucket getter. You can plug him in right there at that 3 spot or that 2 spot, wherever you put RJ, and you can have him and RJ play together. I'm only concerned about his shooting and his ability to play consistently on a defensive end, which kind of defeats the purpose. You know, I would rather have someone in that position that is 3-and-D, so to speak. And DeRozan, he can go out and get you a bucket, no doubt about it. He's someone that I think the Knicks can use in the end of the games, give the ball to, get the ball out of Julius Randle's hands. But as far as during the game, he's not that 3-and-D guy that I've been envisioning the Knicks to go pick up. So I'm kind of on the fence about it. As long as we don't give up too much, kind of another one of those guys where, depending on what we give up, then, you know, I'll be all for it. But if we give up too much, or at least attempt to, I wouldn't be for that.
Right. Well, he's one of the
defensive player.
I'm talking about consistently on the defensive end. I've seen him take some plays off, you know, when he wants to, kind of, when he gets frustrated. And to me, I just, you know, I'd rather have a 3-and-D guy, a guy that can knock down the 3 and be able to play consistent defense on the other end. And DeRozan, for me, he's just a bucket.
Right. But I will say this. He played defense with Toronto, and I think under Tibbs, if he has that ability, under Tibbs, he would play it consistently.
Yeah,
I just don't remember his ability, you know, to like, but I do remember him playing at Toronto, and they were a pretty good defensive team, but I can't speak to him personally at that time.
Right. And see, with DeMar DeRozan, I mean, listen, he's a good basketball player. I've never been a super fan of his, but he's a good player. I don't know. I think that the Knicks are probably just doing their due diligence, to be honest with you. He makes $27.7 million this year. You know, you got to give up a lot just to bring him back, just to bring him in. And then you're probably not going to, I don't want to say that. You never know. You know, maybe they do, or who knows what kind of contract he would want, you know, for him to re-sign next year.
Any age concerns with him? Like, because again, whenever I think about trades, I always think about Randle and his window. He's 31 years old. Like, what is it, around 34 that players start declining on average?
Yeah, 32. Yeah, between 32 and 34, somewhere around there, they start declining.
32, that's close.
You know, I would say your super duper stars, the LeBrons and those guys, you know, they maybe start really declining a little bit later. I think your average player around 32, between 32 and 34, man, they start to, you know, decline a little bit. Physically, at least. Mentally, they might still be there, and your good players are going to be able to. They know that they're declining off physically with their speed and their jumping ability, but they can use their basketball IQ to make up for it in other ways. You know, and you know who is DeMar DeRozan that kind of guy? I don't know, but I do agree he's not really. He's past. He's past that same window as Julius Randle. He's not really in that window. Right?
Also,
he's a little bit past it.
I'm sorry. Also, he is a rental. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season anyway. So as far as trading for him, I wouldn't do that. I would just wait to the offseason because I don't think he's going to go back to the Spurs. So I'd rather wait to the offseason and try to sign him that way if he's available. If we let's say we don't get Kawhi or one of these big names out there in free agency, we can get DeMar DeRozan and just bring him in, pay him the money, and have him there with, you know, a bunch of the young guys that we currently have on this team. But to trade assets for him at 31 years old when he's unrestricted, no, not for that.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens for the rest of this these next couple of days. I am gonna do I'm gonna do a trade deadline special on Thursday. You know, so we can just get a flood of everything that's happening and going on. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I just because I'm thinking you're gonna move on to the pregame, right?
Yeah.
I just had two more names that we didn't mention, and one is a Knicks probability maybe, but the other one is not. But he's a major player that I think can shock the GMs that he's gonna get moved. One is Bogdanovich from Atlanta.
Yeah, they're shopping him.
I think he can get moved because they're shopping him, and he basically didn't fit that team. I think it might be some locker room issues there or something, but he was one of the biggest acquisitions they had this offseason, but he didn't pan out for them. I didn't see his numbers in this last 10 game stretch that they went 8-0 even. But, I'm thinking they might try to deal him. And the other one is a surprise maybe for most of the people. But I think in the Raptors situation, I think they might be moving Pascal Siakam. You're going to ask me why. He got into a scuffle with the coach, Nick Nurse. He got fined $50,000. Mm-hmm. And this isn't the first time he had problem with the team and stuff like that. He at the beginning of the season, he also had that game even versus the Knicks. I think he paused because he left the court, something like that. He wasn't playing versus the Knicks. So there's some issues there between him and the association, I think. The franchise. So everybody's talking about Norman Powell and those guys moving. I think the Raptors are going to scrap that team also. Maybe not this deadline, but I think in the offseason they're going to have to think about moving those. I understand that they re-signed Fred VanVleet, but I'm not sure about Siakam if he has beef with the coach, and I don't think they're going to move or Nick Nurse is on a hot seat. I think he's there to stay for a couple of years at least. So I don't see how you're gonna, repeating those, repairing that relationship between basically your best player and the head coach. Right. So if there's any rifts and beef there, I think they gotta squash it by trading him.
And they just I don't know if you just mentioned it, but he just got fined, right?
Yeah, $50,000.
Yes. He got fined by the organization for cursing out the coach. Would you trade for Pascal Siakam?
I know he plays power forward, right? So we got Julius there. We won't play him at the 3. I think it would be hard to slide him to the 3 and then move RJ to the 2. But I'm not a big fan of his game. I know he's still developing and he's gonna evolve as a player, but he's a little bit shaky for me. I'm not that sure about him. I got many more players on my list that I would rather take before trading for an asset. And believe me, they're gonna want some a haul of picks or contracts for him. Because, I don't think it's already that blown up. He didn't, ask for a trade. So they got the leverage in this kind of deal.
Can I chime in right quick on something real quick?
Yeah, jump in there, Devon.
Yeah, that Norman Powell, though, that's what it do right there. Let me put that out there. Norman Powell is a dog. I love him. I like him. And BX just sent me a text here, according to Windhorse, Andre Drummond is in Los Angeles right now. You know what I mean? So, that Norman Powell,
okay.
Though, yeah, boy. Listen, you put all the 3 and 3 Norman Powell in here. I'm all with that, man. Yes, sir. That brother, yeah. He got the grit for New York. He's a Tom Thibodeau type of player. He gritty. He go hard. Yeah. I think
he can knock down the 3.
Oh man, I like that one. I definitely take Norman Powell.
So how much do you think he's available for real?
He's unrestricted, I believe.
I'm not sure.
I believe he's unrestricted.
Yeah. Because I know
next year, not this off season. He's unrestricted.
Oh, not this one. Okay.
Yeah, the year after, and he's making $10 million per year.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
He's where Alex.
Maybe not day one replacing Reggie Bullock in the starting lineup, but I think they can easily, look up to make that move before the playoffs start. Look how chemistry would be going in, and go into the playoffs when we would be able to make the playoffs in the first round.
He dropped 43 the other night, 43 on like almost 8 or 9 threes or something like that the other night, a couple of nights ago. He was lighting it up. I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. But my question is, if we would go after Brogdon, what would be the package? Because I saw
Got to be a first rounder for sure.
Oh, has to be. Has to be.
They're not giving him up for less than that.
And they're in the middle of a playoff race. I'm surprised they're even going to shop him in the first place.
That's what I'm saying.
Brogdon. But think about it. Brogdon was supposed to be an important piece for Milwaukee a few years ago before he even went to Indiana.
And they also traded him.
Right.
And
Milwaukee hasn't been the same, in my opinion, since they let him go.
That's true.
I think that would be a perfect him and Norman Powell. Those are my two favorites coming out for this trade deadline. Those two, one of those two guys I would take in a heartbeat because they fill drastic needs on this team. Guys that can knock down a 3-point shot and guys that can lock up on the defensive end. Two-way players. Like you can't ever go wrong with that. So for me, that's those are the two guys that I'm hoping for.
Yeah. That's a thing that I might consider. I love fundamentally sound players, and Brogdon, if you're asking me, he's one of the most fundamental players. He doesn't do many things flashy, but he can be balling on the same level, and it's quite of a high level on that. So I love him. My only concern with Brogdon is he's missing games each season. That injury prone thing. That might be the way that they're looking. But when Sim said that they're looking, into offers for Sabonis, for Turner, and for, all of they're basically trying to move, half of the squad. So I don't know if LeVert if LeVert is the guy that you're trying to build around the team. I think you got Sabonis, you got Brogdon, you got to go with those two guys. Right. So, and then add pieces. And LeVert is a perfect fit around Brogdon.
And you got TJ Warren down there, right? He injured, but
still got TJ Warren. But
still got. And this is what I don't understand.
Coming out here, if he wasn't injured, I like to see him at the 3 for the Knicks. That brother can get buckets too. So
it's definitely. Go ahead, Devon.
No, I'll say it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. Really
I think the Knicks they definitely should make a move. I don't think they should get stand pat with this roster. I'm not confident enough in this roster as of right now to get above the 6 seed. I think 7. I think there's no question. No matter what the Knicks do, they're going to make the playoffs. Man, they're going to be in one of the top 10 teams. But anywhere between 7 and 10, I think is where the Knicks are going to be. I would feel comfortable with them at right now. But if they make some sort of move at this deadline, a minor one, I think they can jump up into that 6 and above, between 6 and 4. And I think I would rather have them there instead of a playing game, because in a playing game, say against a DC who are playing tonight, or in Atlanta, I think they just have too much firepower on us. And I'm afraid to play those type of teams in a play-in situation.
Yeah. And I just don't understand why Indiana.
Yeah, trying to move
why
those
we
guys.
hear we hear Miles Turner, that people were inquiring about Miles Turner. The teams are watching watching DeMonte Sabonis. You heard about Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, this is a team that can still be very good. So I just don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Is it a money issue?
Yeah, they can evolve them. It's not like they're
a mid-market
now, and they can build with these guys, right? So
yeah,
right. That's what I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand why they would be in a rush to move these guys. And I do want to apologize for everyone. There was a slight technical difficulty. I don't even think you guys on the panel, I don't even think you guys realized that there was a slight technical difficulty, but there was a slight technical difficulty. Oh, you did? Okay. All right, but we're back now, and I think we're good.
We had a good time, though.
Yeah. and so I think we're good now. I think we're all good. I want to get to a couple of super chats here, and then we can get on and talk about tonight's game. Jonathan JD, he said the distinction I gather is going back to what Ian Begley said about making a major trade. he said it's major assets. In other words, they can still make a big trade. It's just, what does major assets mean to the Knicks? And I agree. You know, we don't know what major assets mean to the Knicks. And it does seem like they're probably playing a little bit of hardball with some of these guys out there. I don't know if it means yet that the Knicks aren't going to make a move. And then Yelvis and Tenza, he said, are we rebuilding or winning now? You know, I think it is kind of both. I think we're trying to toe the line of win, but I don't think it's win at all costs yet. Let's say that. I think they want to win, but I don't know if they're at the point where it's win at all cost. And then Don DeVoe, he said, what would you give up for Brogdon? He's making $20 million. I definitely give up a first-round draft pick. I can tell you that. I'd give up a first-round draft pick. He's making about $21 million, $22 million. If you got $15 million already in the bank, you know, if you're talking about players, you only got to give up $7 million worth of players. You don't even have to give up that much. That's the most that you got to give up if you're talking about salary matching. You know, now what kind of young player would they want in return? Who knows? But I think if you're giving them a draft pick and then you're helping them to relieve some of the salary, because with them, if that report is correct, with them feeling as though that Karis LeVert could fill in for Brogdon and do the job, then I think it sounds like they're looking for something at a bargain, right? They're looking for something that's at a bargain. So maybe they're looking to clean up some cap space. They think they can still get the same production out of Karis LeVert and then maybe get a draft pick or something like that. So I don't know. It's a we'll see how it goes from there when it comes to the trade deadline. But just as a quick update, ladies and gentlemen, according to Ian Begley, the Knicks are probably teams are coming away from the Knicks feeling as though they're not going to make any major moves or give up any major assets to make moves. And it's kind of corroborated by Adrian Wojnarowski, where he says the Knicks are reluctant to give up a premium package for Victor Oladipo. Another report's come out saying that the Knicks have been searching for a third team to take Eric Bledsoe's contract into a potential Lonzo Ball deal. Right, so of course there's always rumors out there all over the place, and we'll continue to have rumors from now until we get to Thursday. We get to that trade deadline. The rumors out there that Malcolm Brogdon is available, DeMar DeRozan is available. There's another rumor that the Miami Heat is looking like they could come away with LaMarcus Aldridge and either Kyle Lowry or Victor Oladipo. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the NBA right now, and we will see where it all ends up, ladies and gentlemen. But for tonight, the New York Knicks have a battle. They take on the Washington Wizards, and Divine, must win?
Yes. Yeah, man, I think so. I think it's time. We've been losing quite a few games, man, and I just don't want the spirit of the team to get broken. You know what I mean? I think it'll be hard for it to take another loss right now, man. We lost like three close in the last 4 games combined with all 4 teams. Besides, we won 10 points. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, 5 to Brooklyn, 3 to Philly, then we lose to 1 to Philly. I mean, I just wonder if it's going to weigh on the guys. Like, we keep battling real hard, but we're not getting nowhere. So I do think it's a must-win for the psyche of the team. You know what I mean? And just to say that, we can bounce back instead of going into a loser streak. We can snap the loser streak and try to move forward, man. So yeah, in my mind, I do think it's a must-win. Sim. I know they got Westbrook and Bill, but we just got to finish playing Harden and Kyrie. So we've been battling some of the tougher guys out there, man, and then played Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. So we've been going against the creme de la creme out there, you know what I mean? And I know they missed their superstars like Embiid pardon me, KD. But you know what? We've been battling, man. It's just that I hope it don't wear on us, man. So I think it's a must-win from the psyche standpoint. I wouldn't say as much as the conference standing because the other teams are losing as well. I just think from the psyche of the team, I think we need to get this win tonight, man. Just to get the loser behind us and try to move forward, basically.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Steph?
Yeah, both for the psyche of the team and just for the playoff push. It's a tight race. You don't want to fall out of it. Hopefully we get everybody back. I could see us, if we go on a losing streak, maybe even falling out of the playoffs, depending on, how bad the streak is, So, I do want our players to come back. I think Rose is back tonight. If so, that would be great for us. I don't know how effective he's going to be, given what he went through. So, but yeah, I definitely think this is a must win for us.
Andy?
Sim, when you introduced the Washington Wizards, you forgot to say that the 15 and 26 and 2 and 8 in the last 10 games, Washington Wizards,
right.
Bro. So,
right.
As far as that goes, this is a game that is supposed to be handling, the business, our business, right? So we're a better team at this standpoint. If we're thinking about getting to the playoffs, these kind of games versus weaker opponents are games that we should win. And, this separates great teams from just good teams or lucky teams. These kind of games that you expect to win, you just got to win them. It's not supposed to be even a question. That's why I really hope that we're going to get this W. And I know it's really hard to get 2 Ws in a row versus the same, team, like in back-to-back situations, not even night to night, just back-to-back, like game after game, because, there's going to be major adjustments between the games, not only in halftime and stuff. But I really think that we have to take advantage and get these 2 Ws just to get that cushion. We're 5-5 in our last 10 games, despite, those heartbreaking loss against Philly and stuff. So as my theory says, just take the, schedule in 10 games increments, try to go 6-4, 5-5 is going to probably still keep us in the playoff situation. But, 2 games versus the Wizards, we're going to get 1 game above 500. We're going to be, 7-3 in the last 10 games. So that would be a perfect thing, to get that a little bit of a cushion before next games.
Yeah. So are we at that point now where, there are teams that we should beat and we should be expected to beat? Because I know earlier in the season it was like, well, we're not at that point yet where we expect to beat anybody. Anyone could jump up and beat us, this, that, and the third. Are we at that point now where we're saying we should beat anybody, not anybody, but there are certain teams that we should beat?
I don't think so, Steph.
Not without injury history. If we were full strength. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Josh. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, Steph was hitting on it. I think, with all the injuries that are happening around the league, not just with us, but around the league, I don't think any win out there is just going to be like an easy W for us. We got to come out, we got to compete every night, and we got to play our game of basketball. Or if we don't, it's going to be San Antonio all over again, or games like that where we get blown out because we don't play our style of basketball, which is defense first. I do think, with the Knicks talent level, that we do have enough talent to win some games, and that we're basically a 500 team. Our roster says exactly who we are. We are that 500 team. So I don't think there's any games particularly that we should win, so to speak, because any team can come out and lay an egg. We can come out and lay an egg, or anything like that. So,
yeah. I tend to agree there. We've seen this team lay an egg. But looking at the playoff positioning and all of those things, this is a must win, and it is a favorable game for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's a must win because right now, when you look at the NBA standings, the Knicks are currently 21-22 in the Eastern Conference. The Washington Wizards, like Andy pointed out, are 15-26. A team that's not doing well. They don't have the same type of chemistry. The Knicks are in the 7th spot, half a game behind the Charlotte Hornets. And if they lose this game tonight, if they lose tonight, they'll move down to probably the 8th seed or so. And when you look at the upcoming schedule, you can be afraid that there could be a slide, like Stephanie was saying. And we clearly, you can't afford it at this point in the season right now for the New York Knicks, which we were talking about that trade deadline earlier, is why it seems like it's so important, to try to bolster up this roster. But, I guess we'll see what happens from there. The Knicks injury report, this is today from the Knicks PR versus Washington. Derrick Rose is no longer in health and safety protocols. Now, does that mean he plays tonight? I don't know. Tom Thibodeau was mentioning that he still needs to get his endurance back. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Emmanuel Quickly is probable with a sore left ankle. Mitchell Robinson with a sprained left ankle is questionable. Just came back, and then he twisted his ankle in the first game back. Elfrid Payton, strained right hamstring, is out. Wait a minute. Hold up. Mitchell Robinson is probable. Elfrid Payton is questionable. Austin Rivers is out. And it's looking like Austin Rivers is just not coming back. Okay, I'm thinking he'll probably be gone by the trade deadline Thursday, or he'll be bought out afterwards so he can go on to another team. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up back with the Clippers. For the Washington Wizards, Davis Bertans, he underwent an MRI that revealed a right calf strain. He's going to be out approximately 2 weeks. Ish Smith is out. He's out for the next 6 to 8 weeks. That was back in February, so he's not coming back until sometime in May. And then Thomas Bryant remains out for the Washington Wizards. Right? And when you look at the lineups of these two teams right now, if we go by Tom Thibodeau and Derrick Rose does not play tonight, Emmanuel Quickly, I'm guessing we'll get the start versus Russell Westbrook. I'm a little bit nervous about that one, just knowing who Russell Westbrook is.
Barbecue chicken.
I'm not sure about that one, I'll be honest with you. I might go ahead and go with Frank if I'm Tom Thibodeau. But Tom Thibodeau, once he gets his lineup, he kind of sticks with it, right? So Emmanuel Quickly came right from injury and started. So that tells me that, Tom Thibodeau will probably stick with his lineup. I'm a little nervous about that one. So you got Emmanuel Quickly, Russell Westbrook, Reggie Bullock and Bradley Beal, RJ Barrett, Garrison Matthews, Julius Randle and Rui Hachimura, and then Nerlens Noel and Alex Len as the starting lineup matchups. Let's talk about that quickly versus Russell Westbrook, if that is indeed the case. I'll start with you, Steph. You worried about that one?
Listen, of course I am. And I'm looking to see, maybe you could play him at the 2. Who's playing the 2? Bill. So, yeah. I hope he does go with Frank tonight. And just in general, I don't really like IQ starting. I just really feel like he has too much responsibility. He's not really looking for his shot. When you're playing with Randall and RJ, you just don't have that freedom. And putting him with the second team will give him that freedom. And I would still in the second team wouldn't have him at point. I would have him playing off the ball. I still don't want him in that second team jacking up shots. I still would like him to play within the flow of the offense a little more. But yeah, I do think he needs to go back to the second team.
Yeah. Andy? Any thoughts on that?
I love how Steph, kindly says words about IQ, not taking that amount of shots. Steph, he simply can't chuck shots while Randall and RJ are on the court with him. That's the easiest way.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see the difference him playing with the second squad and with the main squad. And it's not only because of the opponent that he has to defend, it's also about the opportunities he has. And with the second squad, he can basically take every shot he wants. And nobody's gonna, say a word. Meanwhile, Julius is just gonna peep him with his eyes, and he knows that green light is off. So it's as easy as that for me. So and he already noticed it that he made that the first shot he took, the second one okay, but when he took that third shot, Tibbs was looking at him, that Randall was looking at Tibbs at least. So, he doesn't have that green light with the first squad. But, for me, the more concerning is the defensive part, playing versus guards like today. Because, Westbrook is a really fast guard. We saw glimpses of quickly playing good defense because I noticed it, but it's only glimpses. You can't take possessions off, playing Westbrook. The same thing goes with Beal. I didn't see many of the games them playing together because, one was, out at the beginning, then the other one was out. Beal and Westbrook, right? So I didn't see them playing together on the court that much. But, it's definitely one of the best two, guard tandems in the NBA currently, as far as, offense goes. So, you got to always look out for those guys.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that, Josh?
So a lot of people, Russell Westbrook's one of my favorite players to watch. Let me just get that out there. So, I'm probably a little bit biased about this.
We know.
I think the Knicks are setting themselves back by putting Quickly in that starting lineup. I think if he comes off the bench, I think it'll be better. He can get his game going much better, much faster to start the game rather than just starting the game and then, having to wait, throughout the game to try to get hot. But if he comes in with that second unit and he doesn't even have to play on the ball, the way Alec Burks been playing point guard, we might as well put Alec Burks at the point guard in the second unit and have Quickly play off of him. I don't see why the Knicks can't. They might as well do that. So yeah, I think IQ is definitely at a disadvantage against Russell Westbrook. I expect Russell Westbrook to pretty much do whatever he wants to do tonight, unless Frank plays and starts the game. Unless Frank comes out and starts the game. But if IQ starts, I think the Knicks are just setting themselves up for failure, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think I would go with. I don't think Tom Thibodeau is going to do it. I think I would go with Frank, and not expect him to score a bunch of points, but play defense, take the shots that are available. This isn't a good defensive team, the Washington Wizards. So it is a team that the Knicks should be able to score on, even if IQ isn't in the starting lineup. They should be able to score on this team because they're not good defensively. So that's one of the reasons why I'd be like, you know what? I'd go ahead and start Frank Ntilikina over Emmanuel Quickly. Let Emmanuel Quickly get back in that second unit and play a little bit more free. I think he's probably going to start Emmanuel Quickly if Derrick Rose is unable to play, and I don't think Derrick Rose is going to be able to play tonight. I think maybe they need a little bit more time for him to get in shape. I hope he plays tonight. Get him out there, and then we'll see if he starts. Hopefully Mitchell Robinson's ankle is, well enough for him to play and play some good minutes and start to get back in shape. I think Steph was pointing it out the other day, when he was playing, he, just some putbacks that he normally would have converted. He was missing them, and maybe he just needs to get back in the groove of things. Looking forward to that as well. The last time the Knicks played Washington, Bradley Beal was out, right? Bradley Beal was out, but not Russell Westbrook. Am I right?
Yes.
Russell Westbrook played, but Bradley Beal was out. So you're playing a stronger team. I don't remember if Rui Hachimura, I think he played that game. If I remember correctly, this is a team that I don't know what's going on with the Wizards. Really, I don't know. I never really understood the trade from between Russell, for Russell Westbrook and for Russell Westbrook, trading away John Wall. Never really understood it. You almost get the same exact guy. You give up a draft pick, though. You're still under that same exact contract. So I never really understood the trade, except for the fact that John Wall had some issues over the summer with, gangs and gang signs and stuff like that. Maybe they didn't like the image that he was portraying on the organization or whatever. I don't know. But I just never really understood it. I don't know what they're doing in Washington.
I just think it's the fact that John Wall's been pretty much hurt for the majority of that big contract that he got. And DC didn't feel confident that he would be healthy. I think that's simply what it comes down to. They didn't feel confident that he would be healthy, and they wanted to go out and get a proven, winner in Russell Westbrook as far as the regular season. And,
with injury problems himself.
No, not as much as John Wall. Not as much as
John Wall, but
Westbrook's played.
I mean, he has, but he's still, he's had some injury problems. I just didn't see where they thought the fit would be good between Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. Why wouldn't you have just tried to move on from John Wall and even if you had to give him up for basically nothing, just so that you can clear his books, and then start to be players like at this trade deadline or be players in free agency. Washington's not a place that's going to get a lot of free agents, right? Nobody really wants to go play for the Wizards. But still, at least put yourself in that position. To me, they made a unilateral move that just hasn't worked. And I don't think it's going to work out. I think it was a terrible move by them, really. Go ahead, say that again, Devon.
I think their front office is kind of in chaos too. But I think Ani Grunfeld I don't know if he's still there or left. And I just think that organization is in shambles to me when it comes to front office. And I think also the Russell Westbrook thing probably got a lot to do with Scott Brooks too. You know what I mean? He coached him in Oklahoma City, familiar with him. He coached KD and all them guys. So, I guess they figured that, Russell Westbrook could have a better rapport with Brooks than John Wall. John Wall did, didn't. I'm not sure, but I just think the Washington, man, I don't know what they're doing down there. Sim. I just think that thing is a mess.
Can I add something to that as well? Mm. Davis Bertans got paid $80 million in the offseason, and he has been terrible, absolutely terrible. So I think that's a part of it. Him not showing up, that's all I want to add. I'm sorry, but yeah.
I mean, that's definitely a part of it. That's definitely a part of it. I don't know. The last time the Knicks and the Wizards played, the Knicks won. They beat them 109-91. The Knicks were led by, of course, Julius Randle, who had 24 points and 18 rebounds. Mitchell Robinson had 10 points and 14 rebounds. Is that the game that Mitchell Robinson went out? I don't remember. I don't remember because he only played. I don't know if that was the game or not. He only played 19 minutes and 48 seconds. Had 10 points and 14 rebounds. I only asked that because it sounds like the numbers that he put up when he did go out, right? 10 points and 14 rebounds. And I felt like, that Mitchell Robinson was that was the game that he went out because he had 10 points and 14 rebounds in the first half. And Mitchell Robinson did not play in the second half. So this is the game that Mitchell Robinson went out. Hopefully he can, have the same type of performance this game. We'll see. Obviously it's different because Nerlens Noel is playing well. RJ Barrett, he didn't have a good shooting game against them the last time. Elfrid Payton played last time. He had 12 points, 2 assists. Alec Burks, he didn't play well. Derrick Rose played, though. He had 14 points. Emmanuel quickly had 16 points off the bench. Obi Toppin had 8 points off the bench. For the Wizards, Russell Westbrook had 23 points. Garrison Matthews, he was 4 for 10 from the three-point line. He had 14 points, shot 40% from the three-point line. We got to watch out for him playing that small forward position for them now. Rui Hachimura, he had 10 points. Davis Bertans, he had 9 points, 33% from the three-point line. Troy Brown, that kid, got to watch out for him. He had he shot 40% from the three-point line. He had 10 points. Robin Lopez, if I remember correctly, he was bothering me a little bit because he continued to post up Nerlens Noel down low, right, and use his size down low against those guys. We'll see if they try to do that again tonight. I don't know. Listen, I think the Knicks should win this game, need to win this game, but there's always a chance. This is a good offensive team that can, we've seen them score 140-something points this season. You know what I mean? So, that's always something to be concerned about. They average 115 points per game. And look, we've seen the Knicks hold teams down to sometimes 10 points below their average. But you can't expect that every game. Every time they play a team, especially a team that still thinks that they're in that spot where they can make the playoffs, and they still are. They're still there where they can make that 10th seed and be in the play-in game. The Knicks average 104.7 points per game. They've had some trouble scoring lately without having Derrick Rose and without having Elfrid Payton. They've had some trouble scoring. The Knicks average 46 rebounds a game. The Wizards average 43.7 rebounds per game. The Knicks only average 21 assists a game, while the Wizards average about 25 assists per game. Both teams around 7 steals. The Knicks with 4.6 blocks, while the Wizards only average 3.5 blocks per game. The Knicks normally take care of the ball. In the last game, they turned the ball over a little bit more than expected, right? But they average 12.8 turnovers per game, while the Wizards average 14. The Knicks shoot 45% from the field. The Wizards about 46.4%. The Knicks shoot 37% from three, but they don't shoot a lot of threes. Right? They have one of the lowest number of attempts in the league. And then both teams shoot about 76% from the free throw line. The Knicks, we can complain about everything that happened with the referees last game, but they hit their free throws. The game is probably different. The Knicks were 13 for 23 from the free throw line last game. They got to knock down their free throws tonight. Points in the paint. The Wizards average 48.4 points in the paint. Probably a lot of forays and penetration to the basket from Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook lead to that 48 points in the paint. The Knicks are going to have to stop those guys from running into the lane. Second chance points. The Knicks average 13. That should, hopefully go up a little bit more with Mitchell Robinson back. The Wizards average 11.8. And then the Knicks only average 8 fast break points per game, but the Wizards only average 10.7. The Wizards are led by Bradley Beal, who averages 32 points per game. And Russell Westbrook averages 9.7 rebounds. Russell Westbrook also averages 10.2 assists. Alex Len leads him in blocks in 1.09 blocks per game. Russell Westbrook also averages over 20 points per game. So you're getting a guy that's going to give you a triple-double out there tonight. We're definitely facing a dynamic backcourt. And we're going to have to defend that backcourt in order to win this game, which is the reason why I'm scared about Emmanuel quickly. Andy, any thoughts on the strategy you used tonight?
Well, I'm going to use Frank everywhere, basically. So, on defense at least. For the rest of the thing, I think we should really go really hard through Julius on the offensive end. I don't think they have anyone, under the basket to stop him, and he can really, distribute the ball through the low post versus the Wizards, if you ask me. When they had Thomas Bryant, I think it would be a little bit different. But, since he's not there, I think we can really, go to the paint versus these guys. And, the threes is just going to be an extra weapon for us.
Yeah. Josh, any strategies you take into tonight's game?
Get the ball out of Bradley Beal's hands. He has a tendency of coming around screens really hard. He can knock that shot down. He can be able to drive. He can be able to kick it out. He's very, very dangerous coming off the screens. So I just would attempt to deny Bradley Beal the ball and force someone else to beat you. And, you know, Russell Westbrook, you know, he's going to give you 20 points, but, you know, he does have a little bit of a reputation of missing some shots that he should make. He is inconsistent. So I would force the ball out of Bradley Beal's hands and make someone else beat you.
And Steph, any strategies you want to bring into tonight's game?
Start Frank over IQ. Listen, Beal and Russell Westbrook is still going to get theirs, but you want to make it harder for them. You want to make them get it where they're less efficient, and I think you have a better chance of doing that with IQ. Put the ball offensively in Randall's hand. I think we're underestimating. It's just hard not having our guards, and I think we're just underestimating what it is to go into a game and not have. It's more than being a point guard, I should say, than bringing the ball up and initiating the offense. And we're missing that without Rose and Elfrid, and I think that's what makes these games not gimmies, you know, because we just don't have that right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully one of them play. I think Elfrid is game time decision.
He's questionable for today, so I think he's going to be, you know, game time decision. You know, those hamstrings can be tricky, and then of course you never know with the Knicks. They're not giving up much, right? About what they do. So when you talk about Austin Rivers, you know, he was out. You know, he's out for personal reasons. You know, he just had a baby, but we all know that they're looking to move him. You can wonder the same thing with Elfrid Payton. Maybe they're like, hey, you know what? You know, there's a chance that we're going to move you by the deadline. Go ahead and rest that hamstring. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and rest that hamstring so the next team you go to, you'll be ready to go. So who knows? Who knows? I guess we'll see in the next couple of days.
Hamstring versus, you know, fast guards like these, you know, guards is not a great game to be into.
Right. Exactly. So, well, we will see. Any predictions? Some quick predictions for tonight. Then we're going to get up out of here. Go ahead, Steph. I'll start with you.
I think we win. I think we win by 10 tonight. But I think it's going to be close until we'll probably pull away in the fourth quarter. I don't think it's going to be an easy game where we have a 10-point lead or a significant lead throughout the game. So, but I say we win by 10.
Okay. Andy?
Yeah, we better win because, you know, this is this is one of these teams, like I said, that we got to get, you know, W's versus. And, you know, I realized that they got firepower and they can go off both for 40, 50 points. But for us to not be called the lucky team and, you know, just so we made the playoffs or sneaked into them, we got to beat teams like the Wizards. So, you know, I'm not going to predict the margin of the points. I'm going to be happy as well as happy from a 1-point win for a 20-point win. I don't care. And at least get me a W, and I'm going to be happy with that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think we're going to, excuse me, I think we'll get a win tonight. Then we're going to get a win tonight. I still don't think it's going to be a 10-point margin or anything like that. I think it's going to be close just because I still feel like we're going to have some trouble scoring. You know, it might be a little easier tonight, you know, playing against a team that's not as strong defensively, but, you know, we're just not a strong offensive team in that manner. So I think we win tonight. It might be another close one come down the stretch. This time I think we pull it out. Julius Randle does not get fined $15,000 for going after the referees tonight. You know, he did get fined $15,000 for his actions or for what he said in the media post game or whatever.
Inappropriate language.
Inappropriate language. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after the game. The game starts at 7:30 tonight.
Josh, Sim? What about Josh?
Oh, Josh, did I miss you? Oh, I thought I got this. I don't know.
He did that on purpose.
My bad,
Josh.
to
give us a shot.
Real quick, so you know, like I said last time, every time I predict the Knicks to win, they wind up losing. I predicted them to win the last game, and they lost by 1 point. And every time I predict them to lose, they win. So guess what it is tonight?
A loss.
The Knicks are gonna lose. I'm gonna say this. The good part of tonight is that RJ Barrett's gonna continue to do what he's doing. Julius Randle's gonna go out and get his. I think the unsung hero for the Knicks is gonna be Emmanuel quickly off the bench with 20 points. Hopefully he comes off the bench. But Bradley Beal wasn't there last time, and the Wizards scored 91 points. Add 30 to that, and they scored 121. I think the final score is gonna be 121 to 107. I think the Wizards blow us out, and yeah, DC.
All right, you heard it there first, ladies and gentlemen. He said DC. Which is gonna blow us out. What'd you say? 121, 109?
Yeah, 107, 109, something like that.
107. Okay. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the game starts at 7:30. We'll be back about 10:15 for the post-game show. And tomorrow I'm gonna do a shoot around tomorrow and some more updates on the trade deadline, and then we'll do a trade deadline special on Thursday. So it's gonna be fun. I appreciate you all, and make sure you check us out tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day. Out of here.